Hello, everybody. You're listening to the Big Chill Podcast. This is episode 818, NFL Week 3 Winners and Losers. Hello, Big Chillians. Welcome back to the Big Chill Podcast. I'm Frank, joins us with Eddie. Eddie, how's it going?
Yeah, things are going better now. I had like a 12 to 24 hour flu bug, food poisoning.
Flu bug.
It did cut down on some of my
food
NFL.
Poisoning.
It's one of the other.
After going to someone's house. Ooh, that's always a rough take. You never want to give that text and be like, hey, thanks for dinner last night. I think I might have gotten sick from it.
Well, in fairness, that it was ordered pizza, so they wouldn't be responsible for that anyway. So
well,
I think
lack of cooking, maybe if they stepped it up and cooked their own meal.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, so unless I'm going to blame Pizza Hut, which is, you know,
Pizza
and I
Hut?
had it was Pizza Hut, yeah.
Wow, what a pizza order! Pizza. I haven't been to
or Domino's?
A place. Okay,
no,
Domino's
maybe it was
makes more
Domino's.
sense.
Maybe it was Domino's.
Okay.
I can't remember. It was one of the two.
I can't remember the last time I've eaten Pizza Hut.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, it doesn't come up often, but no, it was good. I enjoyed it in the time, but the next morning, things were not so hot. But
maybe you have a gluten intolerance like Vasilis. That's why he doesn't eat pizza.
That's true.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Or wait, maybe it's like our other friend Tim. Did you also drink 11 ciders?
I did have some beers, but I don't think those were responsible for turning both ends of my body into a fountain. But it wasn't the most pleasant of days. It did mean I did not stay up to watch any of the late game. I woke up while it was still going on and checked the score.
Snooze fest.
Yeah, but it did cut down on some of my NFL consumption.
Yeah, I unfortunately watched that entire game. That was not fun.
Well, good news. Next week you'll be able to start even earlier because you've got London games starting. So you'll get yourself a full 14 hours of football, 15 hours of football if you want.
Yeah. You know what? After both my betting performance yesterday and the Giants' performance yesterday, I think week 4 might be like a slight like week off from the NFL.
Yesterday was a week off for me because I played softball yesterday because it was our last game of the season. So which was risky. It was a risky move. And the only way I managed to kind of get myself through that is that I didn't really eat or drink anything in the morning so that there was less risk of something coming out of me mid-game. And
that's what they always say to get peak athletic performance. Don't eat or drink anything the whole day before a game.
And I hit a home run with my first at bat, and then slowly felt the energy get lower and lower. Like the possibility of me doing anything halfway decent was completely removed. But I then got home, and I was like, I'll put my bets on before the game starts. And I was feeling so bad and so low energy at that point, couldn't even be bothered. And I thought to myself, I then thought to myself, do you know what? The last thing I need right now is to be lying here feeling like death and then watch a team blow it for me and to also lose a bet. And then as all of the results came in, I was very happy with myself that I had made that decision because there's no way that the Packers money line wasn't in any of those bets.
Yeah. Or in your survivor pool that at the second week of picking is now completely done. Great. Awesome. Wonderful. Second year in a row I haven't made it past week 3. And it doesn't start till week 2.
It's kind of impressive.
Yeah, it actually is. And you know what? This one, I slightly don't blame myself as much because I sent the text. My dad said, who do you want? And I said, I guess I'll take the Packers. I really don't love it. And I really think it might be a trap game, but I guess I'll go with them. That's literally my exact text. There was no confidence in that pick at all. I saw that coming like from a mile away. You know, when a team has some of those big games and they just play this stinker of a game. But that was rough. And it
Well, do
was
we?
like yeah, I was gonna say we can kick it off with that game because I don't think Flacco even wanted to win that game. Like they were trying desperately to lose that game, but the Packers just would not score. It was unbelievable.
You say that, but I mean, at what point do we have to take the Browns' defense seriously? They're they're the,
Yeah,
they're the they're the best defense in the league through three
yeah.
games by
I mean, they
a
looked
long
great.
way.
Yeah,
Like,
they looked great, but the offense looks atrocious. I mean, the defense. I think what we should be saying. At what point do we say should Myles Garrett start playing running back or quarterback? Because I would be so frustrated now as a defensive player to be playing teams so well, get the ball back for your offense, and see your offense lose yards. You like get the ball back, and then your next defensive stance, you're in like a worse position than you were. Like they just make it harder for you throughout the game. It's bad. Like I mean, they're not a serious team because their offense is just so bad.
yeah. I mean, they've played what coming into the season we would have thought probably three of the best offenses in the league in the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Packers, and then okay, they
Well,
got completely blown out by the Ravens, but they're only giving up 204 yards per game through those three games. It's pretty remarkable. I mean, I'm not going to say things don't get easier for them though, because then they play the Lions next, so that's another stern test. Then things get a lot easier because then they play the Vikings, the Steelers, the Dolphins, the Patriots, the Jets. Like that's they might not they might have an average of negative. It's like a net positive on defensive yards against those teams.
what week do they play the Steelers? Because that might be Aaron Rodgers' last week in the NFL.
That's the 12th of October.
Yeah. The Ides of October are going to be ripe with Aaron Rodgers' retirement.
Yeah, that's a tough matchup for them. But no, I mean, there's no way to not feel like the Packers threw that game away, especially given the situation they found themselves in. That you had the blocked field goal at the very end, which,
Ugh.
given the way that the Browns were moving the ball, the field goal is definitely winning it, right? And
Yes.
the only thing I would be critical of in the blocked field goal, I get it. I get why you do it, but the Browns player who just sort of threw himself on top of the ball when,
Instead of trying to, you don't have to
yeah,
because
like,
it's automatically your ball.
yeah, like there's no reason to be too worried about what the worst possible outcome is from that play. So just try and get a better return. I mean, admittedly, he was nearly at midfield, but that was the one thing. But yeah, does it change the way you feel about the Packers? We've been very complimentary of them through 2 weeks. Do you reduce the sort of
A little bit. I don't know. A little bit, but it wasn't. The 10 points is a little it's a little deceiving because that was a game where the clock just ran the entire game because I mean the Browns know that they really can't throw the ball that well, so they run the ball a ton. So you're getting like not as many possessions. This isn't a game where the Packers are going to get 12 possessions and score 6 of them and put up 30 plus points. Like if they had won this game 17-10, I don't feel so bad about the Packers. But the inability to come through at the end against a shitty team slightly worries me. Like they had the missed field goal, but before that, they had the ball, and you thought, okay, now they're just going to drive down the field and this game. And that's when Love threw that bad pick. Like that is what's concerning about me is when they had the ball with the game on the line, tie game, let's finish this. They threw the pick and then they couldn't finish and had to settle for a field goal and got the field goal blocked. So that's what worries me a little more, not the low output. I don't know. It's one of those games where like you look back and maybe you say, were the Packers really trying this game? Maybe this was kind of like a rest and recover kind of game to get ready
it's
for that NFC North.
one of your favorite takes. How much did the team want to win? I love this from you. It only took 3 weeks of the NFL season to bring that analysis up.
Yep. I don't know. I'm not super worried yet.
I'm not worried, but I do think I have to reduce my expectations of what their ceiling might look like slightly, because you then look at the stats from that game, and they were even offensively, they were basically outplayed by the Browns. Which is, I think that's the more shocking bit. So, and the one bright spark, I guess, for the Browns is Judkins, who looks pretty good. I mean,
Yeah, he looked good.
he's 18 carries, 94 yards and a couple nice important plays. But I mean, I'm happy because I'm going to see the Browns play in London in 2 weeks. So this at
Oh
least
my God.
is
You're
making
gonna
that
watch
game.
You better bring like a fucking Game Boy or something to play.
The Browns against the Vikings. It might just be.
Oh my God.
I might see 17 yards of offense in that one.
Oh, that kind of sucks.
Now, last episode, you asked me which of the 0-2 teams stood any chance of making the playoffs. A couple of those teams certainly increased their chances of making the playoffs by picking up big wins this weekend, especially the
A
Panthers.
couple did not.
A couple did not. But I wanted to flip the question on you then and say which of the teams that have started 3-0.
Damn it. You took my gimmick, Eddie. I was going to do this.
That's just proof to our listeners that we have zero preparation, coordinated preparation. But
all right,
which
so
of the
wait. What you're asking me is what quarterback can win a playoff game if they have the right offense around them? Okay.
So I'm going to completely reverse it. So which 3-0 team do you think is most likely to miss the playoffs? So your options
Most likely
are
to miss the playoffs. Okay.
Yeah, your options are the Eagles.
Well, you gotta go one by one through it here. Can't throw them all out at me.
Well, let me set the table for you as well. So since 2000, 8 teams have started 3-0 and gone on to miss the playoffs. So that is the 2002 San Diego Chargers, 2003 Minnesota Vikings, 2004 Jacksonville Jaguars, 2009 Denver Broncos, 2012 Arizona Cardinals, 2015 Atlanta Falcons, 2016 Baltimore Ravens, and 2021 Carolina Panthers. The most notable ones from those are the Denver Broncos, who started 6-0 in 2009 and finished 8-8.
Wow.
And the Atlanta Falcons, who started 5-0 and finished 8-8.
Oof.
Yeah. Carolina Panthers in 2021 started 3-0 and finished 5-12.
Was that the Baker Mayfield in the practice squad here?
So it's not inconceivable that the wheels could completely come off one of these teams.
All right. Shoot a team at me.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah. After what I saw from the Atlanta Falcons can go fuck themselves. And I am completely out on the Atlanta Falcons for good. I mean, the Bucs look good this year. And if anything, Baker Mayfield is more like Baker Willfield because he will will his team to a victory whenever he needs to. There's no maybe in that.
Okay, but you're not concerned that they let that game go from a blowout to nearly losing it yesterday against a very bad New York Jets team?
No, because right now Mayfield's main stat is he wants winning drives and comeback wins. And now he's 3-0 this year. Yeah. All 3 games he's had the winning drive to win the game.
Yeah.
No, but here's the thing. Are they going to make the playoffs? Yes. Are they a legitimate threat to win the Super Bowl? No, I don't think so. But I think, with what their schedule is, what their division is, I think starting 3-0, they'll make the playoffs.
Okay. Because, they've beaten the Falcons, the Texans, and the Jets. I think 3 bad teams by a combined 6 points.
I'm okay with it. I think they'll make the playoffs.
I agree. I mean, their saving grace is how
who beats
bad
them in that division.
Maybe the Panthers now? I have to flip that after giving them some chance on the last episode? I mean, the Saints definitely know. So it's either the Panthers
They already
or the
beat
Falcons.
The Falcons. They've already beaten them once.
I mean, I guess the one thing I would say, looking at their schedule, I don't think they have many wins coming up. They play the Eagles, the Seahawks, the 49ers, and the Lions. I think they go 1-3 there, maybe. They could lose all 4.
Between the Seahawks and the Niners, they can beat 1.
Oh. All right. Next up, got the 49ers 3-0.
I don't know what to make of the Niners. Like they looked pretty bad that game. I honestly don't think they even deserved to win that game. They did win that game, and I'll give it to them. I it's just so annoying because it's the typical Niners where they're 3-0 and they don't have any of their starters. But it's like, will they ever have their starters? Because they never have their starters. And I'm so sick of having this conversation with you for 3 years on this fucking podcast about the Niners and injuries. And if they were only healthy, imagine when they're healthy. That's a statement you shouldn't be able to make as a Niners fan or a Niners supporter, is imagine when they are healthy, because that will never happen.
Do we need them to be healthy?
Yeah, I think so, because oh God. Oh God. Yeah, Max Jones is not the answer. He did not look great.
He looked
Their
okay.
defense looks good, but I don't know how the Cardinals, like, that third down call trying to throw the ball and stopping the clock was, one, dumb, but then two, a bad drop as well. So that was rough. Will they make the playoffs? I guess is the question. The Seahawks are 2-1.
Both the Seahawks and the Rams are 2-1. Yeah.
And so are the Cardinals.
Yeah, everyone else in the division is 2-1.
I think it's still 50-50 if they make the playoffs. That division is tough. And they've beaten so far in that division the Cardinals so far.
And the Seahawks.
They haven't played anyone else. Oh, they did play the Seahawks. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. I still like the Rams in that division. I mean, I think the Rams let go a game yesterday they should have dominated and won against the Eagles, but I don't think they win the division. I think they could make a wild card. There's just too much unknowns with the Niners.
Yeah, but I mean, it is an incredibly easy schedule. So their next few games, they got the Jags. They got they're home for the Rams on Thursday Night Football. Or no, they're on the road to the Rams. Okay, that's a tough game.
Ask me again on Friday. Ask me again on Friday after that.
That's
Thursday
next
night.
Thursday. That's next Thursday.
Oh, okay.
Jags this week, then the Rams, then the Buccaneers, then the Falcons, then the Texans, then the Giants. I mean,
yeah, it is a pretty easy schedule.
The Rams are the only game from that where I wouldn't be surprised if they lost, but they're still favorites for all of those games, probably.
Yeah. With a schedule like that, then I think they probably will make the playoffs.
All right. And then the Eagles, who had a somewhat improbable victory yesterday, where they looked down and out and then managed to fight back against the Rams.
I'm going to say this. Last year, we had the same argument about, are the Eagles really as good as we think they are? And then they stormed in the playoffs and won the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles will make the playoffs. I think that division is pretty bad that they're in. The Cowboys did not look good again. The Commanders look okay, but somehow they looked better on offense without Jaden Daniels. I don't know what that means. The Eagles win that division. They make the playoffs. This is not a repeat of last year. I do not think they are a legitimate Super Bowl contender. They do not look very good on offense. At times, their offense actually looks bad. And defensively, I think they're exploitable, and they don't have that same fierceness to them on defense that they did last year. Like, I don't think a lot of teams are as afraid playing that Eagles defense that they were last year when they were just demolishing Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl.
All right. Now, I don't think we even really have to discuss the Bills. I think we can say we both expect them.
Yes,
we both picked them to win the Super Bowl, and they're 3-0, and that division has turned. I think it's going to be even easier than we expected, given that the fact that Jets and the Dolphins are both 0-3, and the Patriots don't look good either. So they'll win that division at a canter. The Chargers.
Yeah, Chargers are making the playoffs. Chargers might be the best team in the NFL.
Okay. I mean, they are also being helped by that division now being easier than would have been first. For them to have a 2-game lead in that division after only 3 games.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Is somewhat unexpected from what I think most people thought might be the strongest division in the NFL coming into the season. The Chiefs, I don't think improved their.
They won. I mean, like,
they won.
They didn't look. They looked a little better on offense, but I don't know if that is real or if that's because the Giants defense secondary is just so atrocious that anyone looks good. I mean, Dak Prescott looked like he was going to go to the Hall of Fame on Monday after he played them, and then next week Dak Prescott didn't look as good. So I don't think they solved everything. I think that was maybe a great game for them to kind of get a better feel for their offense and maybe see what works, what doesn't. But I was not at all impressed. Actually, that to me, watching them play that game against the Giants, that was the real first time that me, not you, felt this is not a good team.
Welcome
Like,
to the
not
club.
even like this isn't a team that can win the Super Bowl. Like, this is not a good team. Like, this is a mediocre team right now.
Welcome. There's plenty of room on board. All right. And then finals, the Colts.
I don't know if the Colts make the playoffs, but Daniel Jones is winning the fucking MVP. That's for one thing. This guy's a machine. No, I don't know. Like, listen, the Colts are 3-0. The combined record of every team they've beaten is 1-8. So like, they haven't beaten much of anything. They will come down to earth. Can they sneak out that division is the question. I think they can. I think they are a legitimately above average team. I think they are a team that will sneak into the playoffs. I don't, again, think they're a threat to win the Super Bowl, but you can say what you want about Daniel Jones and whether that's legitimate or not. The one thing that is legitimate on that team is Jonathan Taylor. He looks amazing right now. He leads the league in rushing. He looks pretty much unstoppable when you give him the ball. So I think when you have a running back that good and an offensive line that's blocking so well for him, you're going to win games. I think they'll win enough to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, as we spoke about last episode, they're really helped by how weak that division is. So, I mean, the Jags are, I think, the only threat now. I did say wait until this week to let me know if I could completely write off the Texans, and I think I can completely write off the Texans now that they're off to an 0-3 start. The Titans,
What a drop that was.
yeah, we've thrown about different teams who might be the worst team in football. I think we have to remove the Browns probably from that discussion just because of how good their defense are.
Thanks for telling me that 1 week too late.
I think
watching the Titans game, I was just thinking, like, why the fuck did I just not bet against the Titans? They are terrible.
I think it's the Titans and the Saints, I think, are in a category of their own. In the same way that the Ravens and the Bills are at the very top, probably on a tier of their own, the Saints and the Titans are worse than anybody else by a significant margin.
I watched those early games and literally I said, like, why am I not betting against the Titans? And then I watched the afternoon game and said, wait, never mind. Why am I not betting against the Saints? That game was over. Honestly, that game started, was at the 4 o'clock or the 4:30? I think it was the early. I think it was the 4:05 that one started. That game started at 4:05. That game was over at 4:15. It was unbelievable. I've never seen a game so quickly be like, and that one's done.
Yeah. Yeah, and so I think I have to write the Texans off. Since 2000, only one team has started 0-3 and gone on to make the playoffs, which was actually the 2018 Texans. It's only happened 4 times in the history of the NFL, so it's not looking great for them. But they have the benefit of playing the Titans next, so could probably get to 1-3.
Yeah, false security there. So I guess we give co-pilot Sam a lot of shit. Co-pilot Sam was onto something. He told us that a team was going to have a defensive touchdown. Unfortunately, co-pilot Sam picked the only team in the NFL that did not have a non-offensive touchdown, but it was onto something. It knew that this week was going to be a week of non-offensive touchdowns. So I give co-pilot Sam some credit because damn, there was like, I think 10 non-offensive touchdowns, which is insane.
Yeah, it noticed the trend. It just couldn't pick.
It didn't notice it. It predicted the trend. Just not quite. This is where AI is, Eddie. We're so close with AI. It can predict these trends, but it just can't quite get it correct. We're seeing AI in real time.
But yeah, no, I mean, I think both our records and co-pilot's records probably took a hit this week, but we'll break that down on Thursday, but it probably wasn't a great weekend for any of us. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean, the Falcons, to me, that was awful. That was an awful performance for a team that thought they would be on the rise and trying to keep in contention for the division. That was just such a pathetic performance. Um, just really, really bad. A lot of the other games, I think, when you get into that territory of like multiple blocked field goals, it starts to get a little lucky. And it was so chaotic in that 10-minute span that I was a little confused as to what was going on. Like there were games where I was like, "Hey, what's going on with that game?" I was like, "Oh yeah, that got blocked also." Like it happened so quickly. Everything was going on at once. But yeah, I think the Rams I still think the Rams looked really good. I think they gave that game away. That to me was the one that was the most annoying of the blocked field goals.
yeah. The one thing that confused me about that Rams blocked field goal is it, and I haven't watched it enough times in sort of close, slow motions, but in the couple of replays I've seen, it felt as if that the kicker probably had the ball and was down by contact. Felt, again, not that that significantly changes the outcome, but it did mean that the Eagles managed to return it for a touchdown and have that help them cover if that was important to people. But yeah, yeah, as you know, I'm not super high on the Rams, and I think whenever a team throws away a game from such a strong winning position, I think that's reflective of bigger problems.
How about the Chargers, Eddie? Are you a believer yet in the Chargers?
It depends what you mean by believer. And as already touched on, I think they win that division. They obviously started, bizarrely had 3 divisional games to kick the season off, won all 3 of them, so it puts them in an incredibly strong position. Justin Herbert looks good. Um, that was a nice comeback win for them, and Herbert made some big plays down the stretch to help them do that. I kind of read in more into that again of the Broncos just are incapable of like this. That's a game where I take away more from Bo Nix than I take away from Justin Herbert. Like
Yeah,
that
because
was
he's not that great.
it was a reasonable Justin Herbert performance, but under normal circumstances, that's just a normal Justin Herbert stat line of 300 yards, a touchdown, and an interception in a Chargers 27-23 loss.
Yeah,
That's
but add game-winning drive to it, Eddie. That's the difference this year.
yeah, but he shouldn't have had the opportunity for those game-winning drives. Really, Bo Nix, it's not looking good for him. I mean, this is a major sophomore slump at this stage because that's 2 weeks in a row where he's had the ball in his hands, only needing to string together a reasonably competent drive, and has been incapable of doing so. And that's not a trend that you want to be part of. And, for him to finish 14 of 25 with 153 yards, that's not great.
Yeah, I mean, I was not high on him last year. I thought he was slightly overrated last year. I think they kind of just got lucky in a lot of games, had a weaker schedule, made him look better than he was. And when he played good teams, he didn't play that well. I think you're just seeing a longer amount of games to base it off of now. I think that's kind of the issue. The question for me is he in a sophomore slump or is he, not as good as we thought he was? But what about CJ Stroud? Is CJ Stroud just going to be known as the guy who had the amazing rookie season and then just fell off a fucking cliff?
Yeah, I'm worried for him at this stage to the point where if you told me he wasn't an NFL starter next season, right now, it wouldn't surprise me. And 12 months ago, we would have had a conversation about how did teams not draft him? That was the big talking point of everyone should know. You just take the good quarterback from the good college football program, and they've proven themselves in big games in college, and they're kind of can't miss. And yeah, it's not looking good. I mean, it's a dramatic fall off from him, but when you
Yeah.
think
So
2023 over 4,000 yards and only 5 interceptions, and 2025, he's already got 3 interceptions. So
Yeah. Yeah. So his rookie season, 2023, he went for over 4,000 yards, only 5 picks, and 38 sacks. So about 2 sacks a game. And his rating was 100. His QBR was 58, which is a pretty decent QBR, especially for a rookie. The next year, that QBR dropped to 46, and now it's currently at 40, which is not a good QBR. But even worse is last year he had 12 picks. This year, you said already, he had 3. But last year he had 52 sacks, so he averaged another sack a game. And this year he's already got 8 sacks in 3 games, so he's almost averaging 4 a game now. So he's gone from 2 sacks to 3 sacks. If you're going to 4 sacks a game and a pick, that is not a good stat line you want to have. Like, you're not putting your team in good positions. And he just does not look very good right now. Watching a lot of that game, he was outplayed by Trevor Lawrence, who many were saying Trevor Lawrence shouldn't be in the NFL anymore either. And Trevor Lawrence didn't have a good game. I mean, he for 3 quarters, Trevor Lawrence looked terrible, and then he somehow turned it on and late in that game-winning drive, and isn't helped by Brian Thomas Jr. or the third, or whatever, having I think 3 drops yesterday he had before he had that really nice catch. So yeah, for the Texans not to be able to beat the Jags, that's a bad loss. They are done. Last time I
yeah.
ever bet the Texans.
Even not you're not going to touch them against the Titans this weekend.
No, I think the Titans are going to blow them out.
Okay,
This is
I
Cam.
know.
This is Cam Ward's coming out party right here.
Okay,
People are going to
well,
say Cam Ward looks like C.J. Stroud did his rookie year. He's balling out this game. You're gonna hear that for sure.
but C.J. Stroud's drop off does raise one interesting question, which is the 2023 draft on course to be the worst quarterback draft in NFL history? It was the first and only draft in NFL history in which that had 14
Like
quarterbacks
7 in the first round,
selected
right?
through the first 5 rounds. So that's the most in NFL history. You
Yeah.
had the first, second, and fourth picks were all quarterbacks: Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud, Anthony Richardson. One of them is basically already out of the NFL. So
Yeah.
that's a rough look. In the second round, Will Levis was taken, so he's gone.
Yeah.
And and then the rest of them,
I
you've
had to think
got
who Will Levis was. No, I was kidding.
the rest of them. Round 3, you had Hendon Hooker,
He's a backup still.
and then Jake Hayner, Stetson Bennett, Aiden O'Connell, Clayton Tune,
Yikes. Aiden
Dorian
O'Connell might have the best career out of all of them.
Dorian Thompson Robinson,
Oh, DTR.
Sean
Great.
Clifford.
DTR is the amazing example of a great college QB who everyone watched him in college and said, this guy ain't going to make it in the NFL. I'm sorry. He's just he's too small. He's too skinny. His game just doesn't translate, but people still tried and he got demolished.
Yeah. Sean Clifford, Jaron Hall, Tanner McKee, and Max Duggan.
Yikes. Max Duggan, TCU.
Yeah. Good memory. So that's not a great draft class. That could be 0 quarterbacks out of that who start over 5 seasons.
Yeah, that's bad.
I mean,
That is not a good draft class.
the only 2 with a hope are C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young. If they can,
and Bryce Young, who I can't make anything out of that guy.
No, and he's probably, and it's funny, right? Because again, in that redraft, the Panthers were so heavily criticized for not taking C.J. Stroud. And there were lots of people who had 12 months of just calling the Panthers idiots and how on earth, lots of podcasts that we listened to and lots of experts who would come on them saying, why on earth would you take Bryce Young over CJ Stroud? Everyone knew CJ Stroud would be better. I think if you do a redraft right now, Bryce Young is going ahead of CJ Stroud. I mean, if they called each
Not
other up
yet.
and
Not
you don't
yet.
think so?
Not yet. No, we gotta give me what will give us 6 more games? Give us halfway to the season. Give me 6 more games.
Okay.
I mean, I think I don't know if you're overrating CJ Stroud's fall or or if you're overrating Bryce Young having one good game every 9 games.
Yeah, but that might be
Like at
better.
least CJ Stroud's made the playoffs.
Yeah, one season. But I would rather at the moment it's one good
2
game
seasons,
every.
didn't he?
Did they make the playoffs last year?
Oh no, they didn't, did they?
But I would rather have one good game every 9 games. CJ Stroud at the moment's no good games every 9 games. I mean, there's basically no bright spots there.
No, they made the playoffs last year and they won a game. Remember they beat the Chargers.
Oh yeah, but do playoff victories against Justin Herbert really count as playoff victories? That's the biggest asterisk
I
you
mean,
could
he's
have
got
in a.
2 playoff wins.
Yeah, but that
He's
doesn't.
almost got as many playoff wins as Bryce Young has wins. And that's a legitimate statement.
Well, the Panthers could be about to go on a little bit of a run looking at their schedule, so you never know.
It's one game.
I don't think they're good.
You can't sell me on the Panthers being good.
I don't think they're good, but I think you look at their next 4 games: the Patriots, the Dolphins, the Cowboys, and the Jets.
It's one win.
I go 2.
Yeah, my other takeaway from this week is it's another week where Aaron Rodgers gets a win but looks terrible. Like it makes me hate the Steelers even more now that he's on the team as well. Because not only do I always think the Steelers are very overrated and they win shitty games and they're not a good team, but now you have to have not only are the Steelers winning, but Aaron Rodgers is winning, and it pisses me off because he just does not look good. He's winning these games and he looks like shit. I can't wait for the wheels to come off when they start playing legit teams, but they don't. They always have the easiest fucking schedule. How do they get this schedule and the Giants have like an absolute murderer's row in like the first 6 weeks?
I mean, I love how you say this about their schedule, and yet the Steelers find themselves year in, year out in one of the toughest divisions. And so they have to play at least 6 tough games most years.
Yeah. Oh my God. That Jake Browning, he's one fucking hell of a player.
Well, that's the thing that's going to save them. They play the Vikings next, so backup quarterback.
Oh my God.
Probably.
Carson Wentz. What a threat.
Then the Browns.
Oh boy.
Then the Bengals. So like they could easily find themselves 5-1 without having
unbelievable
to do very much.
The worst 5-1 team in the history of football. Worse
sure
than the 5-1 team last year that they were.
Now, with the Bills having played Thursday, so we don't have much to speak about them, but I did, for whatever reason, my algorithm on Instagram kept, and I've seen some of these before because some of these clips are fairly old, but kept throwing me up clips of Josh Allen being on Bussin' with the Boys or Pat McAfee or any one of those.
He's such a bro, man.
We hate on Bill Simmons, but I gotta hate on those podcasts even more because it's just him over and over again having these dumb D's nuts conversations. It makes me think less of him. Like it would be hard for me to see that if I were his teammate and think that this guy's my leader, and meanwhile he's off making D's nuts jokes time and time again with just frat boy bro idiots.
Well, I mean, he was like 25 at the time when he did that video.
So, no, some of them are more recent. He's keeps doing them year in, year out with either PMT or Bussin' with the Boys or, so.
It doesn't bother me so much in the sense that he's a football player. Like he's not trying to lead a Fortune 500 company like through like a tough financial time. Like he's a guy who's got to connect with a bunch of dumb meatheads. Like this is fine for me. What's annoying to me is that like the people who are interviewing him are just as fratty and douchey. That's the annoying part, because those are the people that other people are listening to, trying to become more intelligent or more knowledgeable about certain things. Like you listen to podcasts for those reasons, and this is what you're getting. I don't blame Josh Allen for being kind of a bro's bro when he's playing in a sport or he's like leading quote unquote a company or a team where most of those guys are the same. Like that's who he's connecting with. I get it. It doesn't bother me. Are you inferring though? I have to ask this video because I also watched this video, and I'm wondering if you're the reason I got it. Was it the one where he kicks the door? Like one day he went drinking, and they're like, "We heard something about like kicking down a door," and he was like, "I can neither confirm nor deny a door was kicked down at any point at that party."
This is not the
Not
same
that one.
video. No, because
Okay, so
this is the issue. There's
I
so
hope you
many
get
of
that
these
one now.
videos. And you know what? Non-sports take. It makes me think a little bit less of Haley Steinfeld. Like, what's their conversation like
Hey,
between the
hey,
two of them?
hey.
Is this Josh Allen telling her to smell his finger? Is that the way he charmed her? You know, like what, what's that? That's a tough look.
It's all right.
I'm sure he's fun. I'm sure he is
Yeah, I'm
a
sure
very
he's really fun.
charming
You
and
know what?
likable guy.
I don't want
But
this to get out there that this podcast doesn't want to hang out with Josh Allen. So you can not hang out with Josh Allen. You can go to your Pizza Hut dinner parties and talk to the people you like to talk with, and I'll fucking go to my party and I'll hang out with Josh Allen, and we'll see who comes back with a better story.
yeah, okay, yeah. I'll go hang out with Aaron Rodgers
Yeah,
in a
that's the
dark close.
conversation you want. What would
Yeah,
you rather
super
have? A
intellectual.
guy who says D's nuts, or a guy who for 6 hours tells you about how the crystals in your pocket aren't solving your aura properly?
Do you know what? That's not a great choice. I might choose Aaron Rodgers though. I mean, I wouldn't actually. I think Josh Allen is probably pretty fun and likable to be around, and he doesn't come across as a complete idiot. But I think I would have more chance if the choice were those two extremes. I think I have more chance of actually having a real interaction with someone talking about crystals and ayahuasca and uh, how vaccines are bad for you than I would someone who is just making fart jokes and talking about sticking their nuts in someone's face.
I don't think that's what he's doing. Man, that's such a terrible take on Josh Allen.
No, he seems like a very nice, genuine guy. I
And
do.
I
When you
also
see
think
his
he's
interactions
playing
with
up to that
fans,
crowd as well.
yeah, but that's his choice. That's where I do judge you a bit, and like that's obviously something. Yeah, I'm sure if you take him out of that environment, he acts differently. But he is going on all of them, PMT regularly, busting with the boys regularly, and those are that's how he interacts with them on every time he appears, and yeah, it's just rough. Pat McAfee, and it does just make me wonder. I mean, Pat McAfee in particular, because you had to see him on College Game Day all the time. It's just insufferable.
The only thing I do like about Pat McAfee on College Game Day is I love when he does some of like the crazier controversial shit, and you get to see Nick Saban's reaction. Like when he did the LSU chant, when like he starts it and like the whole chant is just, I think it's like "fuck you Alabama" or something like that, and then he got them all to do it, and then he got them to do it again, and Nick Saban's just like like that was really good.
Mm. But yeah, it's not for me, which is fine. It's not for me. It's obviously for a lot more people. I am in the minority based on the popularity of College Game Day at the moment, but it's not for me.
Yeah. But again, what do you want? The people who are watching this and the thing that they're covering, this isn't like, these aren't people who are like running a company that's going to change the world. They're playing college football at a, like,
No,
what
that's
is it that
fine.
you want?
Just because
You want
I'm
them to
watching.
come in suits and talk about their stock picks for the day?
Well, oftentimes they do that. That the NBA coverage is mostly like that. But that's people. That's LeBron James cosplaying as a businessman on a daily basis. But no, I'm not expecting this to be always super serious. But put it this way: if you contrast, to me, the perfect mix is like the Manning cast that they do during Monday Night Football, where they're enjoying themselves and they have interviews with people and they're kind of relaxed, but they're still giving you real insights into football and they're still taking it pretty seriously and trying to deliver a degree of professionalism throughout the broadcast. And then there's just Pat McAfee, who is, hey, I just got lucky because no one knew who I was and I kind of really leaned into that fact and just got to tell stories about Peyton Manning whilst I became a cult figure with the Colts. And then somehow life has just worked out where I'm now one of the highest paid media figures in the world. Who would have thought? But, and I'm not begrudging him that success, but I,
Man.
I always think with that, if you're Pat McAfee, is he going to be doing the same shtick when he's 65 years old? Like the
Yeah.
goal.
I mean, that's an easy answer.
That's the bit that I struggle with.
Man, jealousy sounds so eloquent coming out of your mouth.
Thank you.
We can slightly go off topic for the NFL because I just have a former co-host Sam little story update here. So yesterday or Sunday was also Arsenal Man City. And it was nice because it was right before the start of the NFL game, so you got to watch that and then go into the NFL. It overlapped a little bit, but as long as you have two screens, you're fine. So I was watching the City match. Who City went up 1-0 early, or off of Holland, who Eddie predicted is going to have a barrage of goals this year, and so far he's lived up to that expectation. So good on you. But Arsenal did come back and scored a very strange goal that I don't know how City let that up, but City's defense is terrible, and this is what they do, and they let up these stupid, shitty goals that they shouldn't. And I texted Sam as soon as it happened. I said, "Wow, big one there." 3.5 hours later, Sam replied back, "Yeah."
I mean, it's been a level of passion that's been hard for us to replace since he left. That type of contribution, it really just feels like you were there in the moment.
That's my story.
Yeah, well, I guess, yeah, that's a good way of shifting us away from the NFL. And yeah, it was an interesting match. I think I gotta say it was a shame it was a draw, not because of any Arsenal hatred, but just because it would have really felt like it was Manchester City finding their feet a little bit again. And because ultimately the draw is the best possible outcome for Liverpool as they continue their somewhat unconvincing 100% record. And, it does just feel like that gap is already growing and growing. And, that it's going to be difficult for anyone to catch them. Now, they're the best team in the league and they have the best and biggest squad. So it's not me saying that they wouldn't be deserving winners, but they've been vulnerable in every match that they've played and yet managed to survive. And then, their sort of other title challengers are kind of finding ways to get in each other's way. So it's a little bit of a shame from that perspective because, as we say every year, as neutrals, just want to see tight title races and late season drama. It doesn't feel like we're headed towards that.
I don't see it this year. I mean, they're already 5 points up after 5 matches. Like, this is already a gap has already happened. Yeah, it's not looking like it could be a fun title race at the end, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's definitely a shame. But other than that, I mean, Manchester United back to winning ways against Chelsea. Kind of hard to read too much into that match considering Sanchez was sent off in the 4th minute, then Casemiro was sent off later in the match. But, I guess in a way, it means that Manchester United get to this point in the season and it feels as if they're not off to that bad of a start.
Yeah, well, they're out of the relegation zone.
They are, but
that's an improvement.
Through 5 matches, 2 of which were against Manchester City and Chelsea, and they've won 2, drawn 1, lost 2. If you'd kind of told them that coming into the season, they would have probably expected those 2 losses to be against Chelsea and City, and that's not too bad. It's just they've kind of gone about it in a slightly unusual way. The real drama from English football this weekend, though, was at Ewood Park, where Blackburn were 1-0 up against Ipswich Town with just over 10 minutes to play, and the match was stopped due to a waterlogged pitch. And now who knows what's going to happen? Huge drama in the championship as to whether or not Blackburn will be awarded the 3 points, whether they're going to replay the match, just finish the final 11 minutes, or do a full replay of the match. Looks as if we're headed towards a full replay, which I have to admit is
It's
pretty.
ridiculous.
Yeah,
It's such
it's a pretty.
it's I have to say, as someone who doesn't know the rules as well, that blows my mind that there's not like a cutoff time for a match that signifies like enough has been played and that's the result. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, it feels like, and obviously for further context for listeners, Blackburn were 1-0 up and against 10 men. So you feel pretty comfortable up against the 10 men, having the man advantage and the goal and the lead that you're going to be able to see out the final 10 minutes. Ipswich are, one of the better teams in the championship. So that would have been a really good result for Blackburn to get that win. And I'm sure they're going to replay it because the rules in the championship state that any match that is not fully completed, then in order for the result to be upheld, the two teams would have to agree to that being the justified outcome. And there's no way Ipswich are going to, but it was probably, the pitch was unplayable at that state. So I'm not complaining about the fact that they took them off, although with 10 minutes to go, maybe you could have just made them see it out,
Well, I didn't see it live. I had the match on for a little bit and then I was going back and forth with some other stuff. I didn't see it live, but then I watched the replay of like the play that the ref eventually stopped it. The guy gives like a really strong kick onto the ball and the ball moves like 2 feet and then just stops. It was as if it's like he kicked it in a pool.
No, it was pretty bad.
It
It was
bad.
pretty bad. So, but yeah, I just don't. I feel like the result should stand. The idea that they're now going to have to play another match. What happens, and then in that match, I would expect Blackburn to lose. On top of that, if you get injured in that match, if you get sent off, if you get a suspension from that match, then that also feels unfair that you sort of were put in a situation to replay something that otherwise would have been, you got through unscathed. Todd Cantwell will lose the goal that he scored in terms of his all-time goal-scoring records or this season's. However, the Ipswich player who was sent off, his suspension will stand. So it's kind of this bizarre set of circumstances in which this 80 minutes of football officially didn't take place, but also kind of did take place because someone's serving a suspension from it.
Ooh, a little off topic, but I'm just getting a live update that due to that Packers loss, 1/3 of the survivor pool is now officially out, including myself. What a text to get at 8 a.m. Thanks. Needed that pick me up.
Maybe next year we should do a reverse survivor pool where you have to pick a team that loses each week.
That could be maybe just as difficult. Again, though, I'm not taking full of the blame because I was a little hesitant, and I even messaged you, and you also encouraged the Packers pick.
I said probably the Packers. You'd already submitted your pick by that point, so I take none of the blame on this. By the time I responded, I didn't see your message in the evening because you messaged me at like 1:00 in the morning my time, and I was already asleep.
Yeah.
So I didn't respond until you'd already made your submission. So my hands are clean on this particular one.
Speaking though, Eddie, of the match being ended and having to be replayed and not having some sort of other method for determining it, this brought up a point that I wrote down to ask you. I've been watching The Chase a lot on British television. I've been watching British quiz channel a lot. I love Tipping Point. Like I'm fucking enamored with Tipping Point. That machine, I could watch someone play that machine for hours, just dropping the coins down and pushing them off the ledge. Oh, I love it. So I guess for American listeners who don't know, because I don't think Tipping Point is also an American show, although maybe it is now. I don't know. But it's that like arcade game where you drop a coin down and then it lands on a platform, and then there's another platform and you have to like knock coins off of one platform and then to knock them to the second platform to knock them off of that one, and you collect the coins that come off the second platform. So you'll see it a lot in like Dave and Buster's and things like that. I just love watching that like game in general. But I watch The Chase also a lot because it's always on. And one of the questions came up on The Chase when he was playing the chaser that both the person asking it and the chaser both got wrong. And the question was, in cricket, this is why I was thinking about it. In cricket, you have the DLS method. What
Duckworth
does the
Lewis.
S stand for? Yeah, see? It's literally what both of them said. They said, I only know it as Duckford Lewis. But what does the S in DLS stand for?
Doesn't it give you options in the chase?
It does, but I
Because I
don't
think
know
it's
how to give you the
stern or
options.
stern or
It's
stein.
Stern. It is
Stern.
Stern. Yeah, but I had no idea because literally I said, "Oh, Duckford Lewis," and I went, "Duckford Lewis." Oh shit, I don't know what the S stands for.
But yeah. Well, there you go.
Nice
I would
answer.
have. I would have
You would have gotten
survived.
the chaser on that one. You would have
I'm
survived.
surprised you like tipping point. Tipping point is. I
Well,
mean, tipping points. But
I like it
tipping
for
point
two
could.
reasons. I like it.
Okay.
One, the questions are usually a little easier, so
Yeah,
you can
super
get a
easy.
lot more of the questions. But I honestly am just enamored with the machine. I'm telling you right now, if when we go to San Diego, if you took me to a Dave and Buster's and just gave me a pile of coins, I could play that for 6 hours.
Okay. Well, maybe I need to find a way to buy you one of those for your birthday or something. Sounds. I mean, it's basically just a slightly modified Connect Four board, but so I think we can probably work that out. But yeah, I mean, tipping point though, because there's the kind of hierarchy of quiz shows. So tipping point comes on at like 3 in the afternoon. So it basically exists for students and unemployed people. That's what it's there for.
Perfect. I'm basically like a long-term student who would love to be unemployed.
Yeah. So the questions are definitely that little bit easier. The prize is super low. The chase
Super
definitely.
low. People
Chase is
win like
definitely.
5,000 pounds.
Yeah, if they nail it. That's the chase is definitely a little bit easier. The podcast, this podcast once got a little bit of a Twitter feud with a member of the chase, one of the experts, with
One of the
Cinnamon,
chasers or the
Paul Sinner,
chasees?
one of
Which one?
the Cinnamon, Paul Sinner, the kind of Indian
Uh-oh.
looking one.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, in the fallout after Kobe Bryant died. Interestingly enough.
Yeah, I watched Paul Senna actually lose. One of the first times I've seen a loss on the chase. It's pretty rare that they lose, and he lost to. It was a celebrity chase, and all four were left, and he lost 140,000 pounds. It was a big loss.
I mean, it's not his personal money, but yeah.
No, it is now.
That would be a good twist.
That would be a great twist. And do they make the money if they keep it from going out too?
Yeah, that'd be interesting if their salary was just up for grabs over the course of the season.
That would be cool.
To really add to the tension. But yeah, no, the chase is not bad.
They're so smart. Some of those guys, like some of them though, it's crazy, like the amount of knowledge they have.
But that's their job.
I know it is. I know it is.
Imagine you were just all you're doing is they're just trying to sit there and accumulate knowledge, and everything can become relational in your mind. So you don't know that it's like I don't know that, but I can start to think. Who won the Super Bowl in that year? I don't off the top of my head know, but then I know that the Steelers were good for a decade. I'll go Pittsburgh Steelers, educated guess. It's that kind of thing.
No, but what's crazy to me too is it's not so much when they know the answer, but then it's like when they give you that little tidbit after, and you're just like, Jesus Christ, like this guy really knows what he's talking about. Yeah, I mean their memory palaces must be enormous.
Huge. It's probably Versailles or something. And yeah. No, Chase isn't bad.
Those are the only two quiz shows that I watch.
It's always one of my big regrets in life. I mean, obviously I've got a decent amount of time left, hopefully, but that I have not put in more effort to try and go on a quiz show at some point. I always thought Who Wants to Be a Millionaire I would do extremely well on, assuming that I I think my biggest weakness on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire would certainly be the early rounds, with just some of the pop culture stuff that can come up, which are gimmies for most people. But especially when I lived in England and thought about going on, and I don't watch EastEnders or Coronation Street,
Yeah.
and you just run the risk that you just had to burn your ass the audience, but you're going to do that, and 97% of the people know what the answer is, and you're just like, well, I've never watched it, I don't know what to do. But yeah.
That's what kills me sometimes when you watch the British quiz shows is the television and the music, not so much anymore, because a lot of it now is international. Like a lot of the answers will be like Ed Sheeran now and things like that, which like everyone kind of knows. But the TV and some of the older movies get me every time. Like I have no chance.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a challenge.
Yeah. And then other than that, the other British shows I now watch a lot of are First Date, uh, Come Dine with Me, Dinner Date.
You basically have the TV consumption of a university student. I mean,
Yeah.
that's
But this is what's funny, because like I didn't have that. Like
yeah.
I didn't have these shows. So now like I'm having to consume. So eventually maybe I'll get past the university level. Although that's not true, because I do watch the good like British shows as well. Like a lot of like the British crime shows and stuff I watch a lot of too. So I do
Yeah.
get the elevated experience, but I've never gotten the like
Daytime
the
television.
like yeah, like the mundane experience.
Well, think how excited you'll be then next time we take a trip to England. You could just sit in the hotel in the afternoon and get all your favorites on.
This is why I started watching them, is because when we went to Blackburn, Furlong and I spent 3 hours in the hotel and we watched First Date, Dinner Date, and Come Dine with Me. And I
What,
loved it. And we talk about it all the time.
what was what was I doing during this?
I don't know. You weren't in the
Well,
room.
playing pool, maybe. I mean, we weren't
Yeah,
sharing a
maybe.
room. This was
Yeah,
the
you weren't sharing a room.
we went off and actually did things, and you guys had this
We did
wonderful.
things too. We did great things.
Yeah. No, I mean, I used to watch a decent amount of Come Dine with Me. As you know, I'm sure we've told you that story in university. In former co-host Sam, when we lived together, we did there was four of us living in the house, and we did Come Dine with Me.
I've never heard this story.
Really?
Oh my God.
So we had the arrangement. It was
You,
me.
Max, Tom.
No, me, Sam, Jake, and Tom. It was
Okay.
and we did this arrangement that each
Wait,
person
wait.
get to got to
Wait.
yeah.
Okay, wait. Tell me the arrangement first, but don't tell me any of the outcome.
So the arrangement was that each person got to host a dinner/evening. So you're responsible for both making the meal and sort of some degree of entertainment surrounding it. And you had a budget of £20 for your ingredients for the meal
Ooh,
for four people.
that's like nothing. That's really low. That's a little
In two,
unfortunate.
in 2010, it was doable.
And are you having to make an appetizer, a dinner, and a dessert?
It was up to you.
Okay.
You had free range.
And did you do like the Come Dine with Me? Okay, so for again American listeners, this is basically the premise of Come Dine with Me is you
Mhm.
get four individuals. They each have the rest of the group over for like an evening and mostly dinner and conversation, and they vote like for each other as to who gave the best dining experience.
You give
And then
you
you
give
have
a score to the person
you
at
give
the
a
end of the
score, and you
yeah.
have like a winner, and then you have like a clear loser.
Yeah.
And as you would predict, there are sometimes instances where people are not happy with the score they receive from other people. So it's a great concept, because like especially when you pick the right people, you know it's gonna end in fireworks. Okay. You guys scored, so you had a winner.
We had a winner, yeah.
Okay. Oh boy, I'm gonna upset a lot of people here, I think. I don't know Tom well enough, so I can't judge off of Tom. I, just picturing Jake. Jake's experience just makes me laugh. I just picture him doing something, and then if you guys aren't into it, it's just like, you know what? Fuck you guys. Fuck off. I'm done. Just like,
I actually, to be honest with you, Jake is the only meal I can't remember what it was.
oh, so good.
So I
I
can't
can
remember.
see. I think actually I think maybe you win, but I don't know Tom. So that would be my guess. Is
So
that
I won, but it was
okay?
quite
There we go.
close between me, Sam, and Jake. Like that
Oh,
was
okay.
the three of us did. All of us delivered, decent meals, and it was enjoyable. Tom, all he made was a Spanish omelet. So, and that was it to feed four people. So he
Like a
made
frittata?
basically yes. And if he'd done that along with some other stuff, it would have been fine. But he just made one. And I remember him as he was making it, and I went into the kitchen and I was like, "Oh, so what do you make?" Because it's supposed to be a bit of a surprise, and you did have the kitchen to yourself as you were going through the preparation. And he kind of, I was like, "I'm not sure that's enough for four people," and he was adamant that it was. And then we had to order food after his meal. So that was the thing. That was the thing that really held him back in terms of from a point scoring perspective. Everyone else made, I had a little bit of an advantage because I hosted mine on the night on the Super Bowl. So
Ah,
the meal we had the night of the Super Bowl, it was the Saints against the Colts. And so I did a kind of like Cajun meal to kind of lean into the New Orleans theme. So I had a
got it.
little bit of an advantage in that it made it a bit easier to then tie into a more interesting evening. But yeah, Tom's was just tragically bad. That was the big takeaway from the experience.
I hope Jake's game experience was like some sort of Trivial Pursuit or something.
I can't remember, to be honest with you, what else took place. We weren't a big Trivial Pursuit house. We used to play Risk. That was the thing that we would all play.
Okay.
That was the board game, the only board game that was ever played in that house was Risk, and Risk was taken pretty seriously. Like we
I
would have
bet.
games of Risk that would last 3 or 4 days, where pictures would be taken of the board at the end of the evening, so they could all be set up again when we played the next time. But yeah, it was good. It was a good little premise as a way. I actively encourage any of our listeners who are, young and living with two or three other people. It's a fun way to
Or
kind
have
of.
two or three other friends.
You could do it just with friend groups. It is true. You could just do it with friend groups. I just think as you get older, it would become the humor part of it would probably drop out a little bit because you would expect everyone to have or be able to put on a reasonable dinner party. You know what I mean? Whereas if you're a college
Maybe.
student, maybe. But I mean, I can only think of one of my friends who I think Vass is the only person now who I think if he hosted it, it could just be catastrophically bad in terms of organization and what he thinks everyone else would enjoy. But
Yeah, it's true. Oh, that
and
is
the
funny.
budget would have to be a lot higher nowadays.
Yeah.
I think
Crazy
I
higher.
spent 24 or 25 pounds. I went
Oh,
slightly
so you
over.
lost. You cheated.
Everyone, we are allowed to go over budget, but yeah, I think I spent something like 24 pounds, including beer.
That's crazy.
Because I got like a case of 12 beers. There was a
Did you
promotion
get
going
Cajun
on.
beer?
I got Budweiser. It
Close
was,
enough.
yeah. Any other sporting topics to discuss?
No, but speaking of stories that I thought I had told you, but I didn't. Did I tell you this story about our uh group department picture? Did I tell you this little story that I thought you would enjoy? I like making jokes at the expense of myself, knowing in my head that like people like you or Furlong would love the joke. Like I'll make a joke like and no one will get it, but I'll still make the joke because in my head I'll be like, "Oh, Furlong will love that joke," or like Eddie will love that. So so we did our department picture last week, and it's all the faculty and the staff, but then also all the students, graduate students in the program. So it ends up being like a pretty big picture. It's like probably was like 60 to 70 people total in the picture. And we do it on the steps of the building that our department is associated with. And the photographer's down there and everyone's, on the steps and getting ready. And he's like, "Hey, you got to go over here. You got to go over here. You four come down here, blah, blah, blah." And he goes, the tall guy in the back, tall guy. And I go, "Me?" and everyone looked at me And it was like, because I was in the front row. They're like, dog at the back. And I was like, me? Where do you need me? And everyone looked at me and I started cracking up laughing. I thought it was so funny. And then one of the guys like tapped my shoulder, was like, it's okay. It's okay. And I was like, just once. I want to be referred to as the tall guy. Just once. It was really good. Everyone got a good chuckle out of it in the group. Actually, they knew.
At least it landed as a joke, because the risk
It landed
there
pretty well.
is obviously that people don't realize that you're joking, and it's difficult to recover from those moments.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, I say this now, and I know you're going to make fun of me for it, but when you come here, you'll notice everyone here is fucking tall. Everyone is like over 6'1", 6'2". Like it is. Being in a department, I'm probably the third shortest person in this department, and I'm 5'11". Like everyone is like fucking
5'10".
6'4", 6'5", 5'11". But it's Minnesota breeds some tall individuals.
Well, I'm looking forward to fitting right in, so it'll be okay. I'll feel at home.
You'll feel great. You'll be eye contact or below with everyone.
It's nice. It's, it hurts my neck to be looking down on people all the time, so it will be a nice change. Any non-sporting topics other than your work jokes to speak about? I did watch
think so. How
the
about you?
new, although no longer that new, Superman movie this weekend.
Oh yeah, what'd you think?
Not bad. I'm not a huge not a huge superhero person, as you know. I'm not into Marvel movies and all that, so I'm not the intended. I'm not the. I thought it was reasonably good. I did like the fact that it didn't waste any time giving us the backstory.
Just
Like
went right into
everyone
it.
knows everything about Superman. You don't need to tell, like every movie usually about Superman or Spider-Man or whatever has to show us the kind of origin element. And it was just like, no, this is it. This is Superman, and he's 35 years old, and you know everything about him that you need to know. And
Yeah.
I thought that was good.
Yeah. A little too much of the dog.
Dog was,
The
but they
dog
know that
gimmick
they
got a
know the
little
dog
old.
plays.
Yeah, I know, but like the one or two scenes was good, but it was 8 scenes with the dog.
Yeah, but they know the dog's. It's a popular move.
Yeah, it was okay. I thought Nicholas Braun was good. Nicholas Braun? No. Holt. Nicholas Holt. Nicholas Braun is from Succession.
As
was good as Lex Luthor. He's a good actor. I like him a lot.
Yeah, no, overall, it was fine. I mean, I'm never going to give a superhero movie a super high score. So it was it was like it was a 5 out, it was a 5 out of 10. And to me, that's probably as good as it gets, in that it was watchable and reasonably enjoyable.
Did you watch Weapons yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay, you should watch Weapons. I know you have access to it.
I have access to the thing I actually tried to watch this weekend, which it turned out I didn't have access to, was The Long Walk.
The Stephen King one?
Yeah, I was kind of interested. That was the alternative to Superman, and then that wasn't available. So
you don't have access to that?
No.
Ah, fuck. I was going to watch that this week.
Well,
maybe by this week you'll have access. But yeah, I heard it's pretty brutal. It's based off of an older book too. Older Stephen King book. Yeah, watch Weapons this week at night. Make sure you watch it at night. It's not a daytime movie.
I don't really watch movies during the daytime, so you're safe on that front.
You're right. I just watched First Date and Dinner Date.
The only time I guess I maybe would watch a movie during the daytime is like a Sunday afternoon. That's the only time when.
Well, not now. Oh, I guess for you now.
Yeah, pre-NFL, like Sunday 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon, like post lunch. If feel like the challenge with that a lot of times now is because so many movies are so long that then I have to eliminate them from consideration, because there's no way I will see them before I want to watch something else or do something else. And that at night that doesn't bother me at all. I'll watch a 3.5 hour long movie at night, and if needs be. But if it's this kind of Sunday afternoon viewing, then it's a little tougher.
Well, I think Weapons is right under 2 hours, so you're good. Not a super long movie. All right. I guess with that, then we'll call it a day. Talk to you later.
Sounds good. See ya.
See ya.